Hello, everybody. It's Bonnie here for Intuitive Eating Wednesday, playing a little Beyonce while I'm waiting for people to come in. Just gonna listen a little bit, waiting for people to come in for Intuitive Eating Wednesday. I'm just in the mood to play a little music. I'll lower that volume a little bit as I say hi to you guys. Welcome. All right, we'll go ahead and close that off for now and visit that music a little bit later. I love playing music in the office when I can, when I'm not in session. So it's Intuitive Eating Wednesday, and we have a great topic coming your way. Before we do that, for those of you new to me, let me just introduce myself. I'm Bonnie Giller, and I help chronic dieters develop trust with themselves and food so they could break free of dieting and live life to the fullest. So if you've been following me for a while, let me just get my volume up here. If you're following me for a while, then you probably know that about me and that I utilize the principles of intuitive eating to help people break free of dieting, really come to a place of trust. It's all about trust. It's all about trust because diets have stripped you of trust. And today we're going to uncover some of the top myths around intuitive eating. A day doesn't go by where I don't talk to people and people don't share. Well, it sounds too good to be true. So I want to get into that. But before we do that, let me just bring your attention to let's see, hold on. Yeah, let me just bring your attention to what you see across the bottom of the screen here. I do have a free webinar coming up Monday. That's March 14th at 8 p.m. Oh, I made a mistake. It says 6 p.m. Nope. Let's go ahead and change that. And if you're here with me, come say hello. Hold on a second. How do I change that? That's interesting. I can't change that. Okay. And so it's not at 6 p.m. It's at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday. Please join me. 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday. The webinar is entitled 3 Steps to Eating for Healthy Living using the Intuitive Eating Blueprint. So the link, I will post that link again. Okay, come say hello to me. Who's here with me? Come say hello as we dig into the misconceptions, the myths around intuitive eating, a very important topic, okay? Yeah, I don't know why this banner keeps, hold on. I am just going to take 1 minute to fix this problem. So bear with me, and if you're here, can you say hello? Let me just, me and tech. 3 steps to eating for healthy living. Okay, so guys, come say hello. I'm going to look in the comments in just a second. Monday is the 14th. The webinar is at 8 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, I guess I see more people coming in. I want to wait for a few more people because it's a big topic. And you know me, I really like to talk with you back and forth and hear your thoughts and opinions on it. So come on in and say hello when you're here. Thank you for the hearts. Okay, I think I got it right now. Okay, let's see if I did this right, guys. There you go. Free webinar, 3 Steps to Eating for Healthy Living, Monday, March 14th, 8 p.m. Eastern. And that's the link that you can register. If you haven't registered yet, how come? Even if you've heard me talk about this before, join me because I have new things to always share. And we're going to have a special Q&A session. We're going to be on Zoom together. So not like this back and forth. I don't really see you. I can just read your comments, but I could see you and we can really have great conversation. Hey, Claire. Hey, Tracy. What up? How are you, girl? Been like forever. How are you? Oh my God, send me a message. Tell me what you're up to these days. You can obviously see I'm up to a lot of different things than I was when I knew you back then. Okay, so today we're talking about intuitive eating. We're talking about the top myths, misconceptions. There are plenty more that I'm going to bring to the table today. But either way, I think it's a great start to the conversation, and I would be interested in your shares as well in the comments. If there are others that you've come across that aren't what I bring up. So let's dig in. When it comes to intuitive eating, we have information thrown at us from the internet, from blogs, from books that come out, from social media. Because you could self-publish a book and nobody's verifying the data in that. So you have to do your due diligence when reading these self-published books for sure. Now, a lot of this information can be helpful. So let me just stop and acknowledge that. And we're thankful for all the wonderful experts that are out there bringing us information and teaching us. So a lot of this information can be very helpful in your journey towards making peace with food. But there is a lot of misinformation. And what I find with people is that it becomes extremely overwhelming and it's confusing. And then they don't know what to do. And then they say, I'm doing it wrong. No, you cannot do intuitive eating wrong. Let me just throw that out there. Okay. But it discourages people. It discourages people from embracing and enjoying and even starting or continuing their intuitive eating journey, because they end up feeling like I must be doing something wrong because this isn't quote unquote working for me. Okay, so the top myths that I've come across well, there are more, but that I wanted to address today in the limited time that we have together. Number one, intuitive eating is all about instincts. Eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. That is a very common misconception that we want to bust right now. If you've heard this, if you've thought this, please put it in the comments. I'm interested to hear. It's not true. We don't eat just on instinct alone. That's not how we make our eating decisions and our eating choices, right? The whole idea doesn't work, because as human beings, we're very complex beings. So there are three main systems, for lack of a better word, of our brain. We have the instinctual, that's what governs the impulses that we have. The emotional, responsible for feelings, and rational, that generates our thoughts. And this is why intuitive eating is complex. And according to Elise Resch, one of the co-authors of Intuitive Eating, she states that intuitive eating is the dynamic interplay of instinct, emotion, and thought, all of these areas of our brain. The instinct part tells us when we're hungry, when we're full. It gives us a sense of how we feel after we've eaten something. It's tied to what we call interoceptive awareness, which is being aware of the signals that our bodies give us. Interoceptive awareness is a big, big part of intuitive eating. It's something I delve deep in with my clients in both my Intuitive Eating Basics course as well as the Whole Body Trust program. Many people think that intuitive eating is just instinct. And the fact is that if we stop and we think about it, our emotions, think about this, okay? Our emotions can interfere with our instincts. For example, if we have a lot of anxiety, many people, it impacts our appetite, right? Our appetite can go away. If we're in this stress response and we have an adrenaline rush, oftentimes we're just not having that appetite. Remember, when we're in fight or flight, certain things happen to prepare us to fight or to flee. And the non-essential functions actually go down, such as digestion, appetite, etc. So, or on the other hand, emotions can drive people to eat more than what true hunger tells them they need for comfortable fullness when in a state of certain emotions or stress. So the emotional aspects of our life can affect our instincts. And that actually is really what is so cool about being human, right? As a human, we can take that rational part of the brain and monitor our emotions and interfere with some of the negative things that might come up as a result of not being able to feel our hunger or fullness due to emotions. So, for example, if you have a cold and you're not that hungry, right? You're not feeling well, so you're not that hungry, but you know that I really need to eat. So you're not going to say, well, I'm not hungry, so I'm just not going to eat today. The rational part of your brain is going to say, you know what? I'm not that hungry. I'm not feeling that well, but I know that I really need to nourish my body to heal, so I'm going to eat. So the same goes with using food to cope with feelings. The rational part of the brain comes in and says, okay, you're feeling emotional, but let me find some other ways to deal with these uncomfortable emotions. And that goes deeper. That's really, in treatment and in counseling and in coaching is where, we can really build upon this and understand this a little deeper. But here's the message. The key that I really want you to take away is that to understand intuitive eating, you have to understand that it's much more than instinct and hunger and fullness. Okay. So that was myth number 1 that I really wanted to just give you some food for thought, to really give some thought to that, because for so many people that's what they think. Number 2, any thoughts on that? Pop a question, a comment in the box. Number 2, intuitive eating means eat whatever I want, whenever I want. Okay, I know you've heard that myth before. Well, you've heard that before, but it is a myth. And are you aware that that's actually a myth? So it's a very important question to ask yourself, okay? Do you think, or I mean, I know, Claire, if you're here, you've been on this journey for a while, so I know you don't believe this one at this point in time. But for anybody else, when you first hear about intuitive eating, is that what you think? Oh, great, I can eat what I want whenever I want. So I do have clients that start off thinking that, whether they misunderstand it or it's just such a novel concept, that they really begin to take that pendulum of restriction all the way up to the over, quote unquote, doing it. And then they don't feel well. And they go, well, this can't possibly be good for me. Yes, with intuitive eating, we work on making peace with food and having unconditional permission to eat. This concept of unconditional permission to eat is very often misunderstood. Intuitive eating pairs unconditional permission to eat with attunement to our physical cues. And this is where people don't get it. Oh, eat what I want when I want? Technically, unconditional permission to eat. You have permission to eat what you want when you want it. But with intuitive eating, we are working to attune that to our physical cues. Am I hungry? Am I full? And what are the physical sensations that are accompanying my emotions? Remember, I just said a moment ago, this concept of interoceptive awareness. Interoceptive awareness is the ability to identify, to access, to understand, and to respond appropriately to the patterns of internal signals, the physical sensations that your body is giving you. It is an essential part of intuitive eating that goes way beyond the hunger fullness diet mindset. Because if you think that intuitive eating is just about eating what I want when I want, then you're not understanding the concepts of intuitive eating. So I want you to rethink that. And then you just turn it into, okay, so eat when I'm hungry, stop when I'm full. And yet that's another diet as well. Misunderstood, right? So in the beginning, so many people fear. There's a lot of fears. What are some of the fears that have come up for you when you began the intuitive eating journey, or you contemplated getting started on this journey? I'd be interested to hear from you on fears. But in the beginning, for many people, they fear that they will eat nothing but what they call junk food. Like someone even said that to me recently. Well, if you're going to tell me I can eat, fill in the blank, I don't want to mention what this person said, but if you're telling me I can eat, then I'm just going to want to eat that all day. And then I'm going to end up binging on those foods. Think about all the foods that have been forbidden on your diets. But with intuitive eating, it may feel like that's going to happen initially, because when you take the chains of dieting off, right, now you're free. Sometimes you do bring all those foods back in an intense way, which can feel out of control. But just remember, it's not that it's out of control. It's that when you underfeed your body and when you restrict yourself, and when you have such foods on such a power, like you put them up here, it's natural when you're underfeeding your body and starving your body that once you have the opportunity to eat, you're going to have an intense feeling to eat and eat and eat. That is normal. That is your body responding to this concept of starvation. But with intuitive eating, when you bring all these forbidden foods back in, you learn through habituation to really have this freeing phase that happens, right? And ultimately you have attunement, you have awareness that you're learning within intuitive eating, and this whole but I'm afraid I'm going to eat it, I'm binge on it all day just disappears. It's easy for me to say it, is you can hear it, but maybe intellectually you understand it, but I know that it's often hard to put it into practice in your life, which is why support is so important, which is why doing this on your own isn't necessary. Really, it's not. Um, so the key misconception here is that while there are no foods off limits with intuitive eating, it doesn't mean you're eating all the time. Capitals, periods in between. Doesn't mean you're eating all the time. Intuitive eating is not see it, want it, eat it diet. Okay. So through the principles of intuitive eating and through the teachings of intuitive eating, you will learn to ask yourself certain questions before choosing to eat. And those questions relate to whether you're physically hungry right now, whether you're feeling an emotional hunger right now. You're considering when I ate this food last time, how did I feel? And so on and so on and so on and so on. Many different questions. You're learning about yourself, your experiences. So no, intuitive eating is not see it, want it, eat whatever I want, whenever I want, because then that bears the question that I hear all the time. But how can that be healthy for me? I need to be healthy. Yeah, but keep in mind your journey towards trying to achieve health through dieting and weight loss hasn't worked. There are other ways for you to reach optimal health without focusing on dieting, restriction, and having food off limits. So no, I am not saying intuitive eating is eat whatever you want, whenever you want, and don't think about it, because correct, that's not the proper way to think about intuitive eating, and it's certainly not going to give you good health, which by the way is why you should be joining me Monday night on my webinar, and you see that right on the screen. So go register. Okay, third myth, misconception around intuitive eating is that, well, intuitive eating is just another weight loss plan. Oh my God, so many people come to me with an interest in weight loss. With an interest in intuitive eating for weight loss. Yes, teach me how to lose weight without dieting. And if I'm being frank with you, in the very early years of me learning intuitive eating, I actually thought the same thing. And I will say to you that the earliest edition of the intuitive eating book, the authors also admit to having some level of messaging around weight loss or getting the body that you want or your natural healthy body weight, et cetera, et cetera. Intuitive eating, and they've, by the way, changed that up in the last edition, right? Everybody learns and grows in this journey day to day in life. So intuitive eating is not another diet. It's not another rule book to follow, although many people think that it is. With intuitive eating, you really are working to reject the diet mentality. But if you believe that with intuitive eating, I will lose weight, then you haven't yet rejected the diet mentality. And that mindset is really distorting the messages and the principles of intuitive eating. And if somebody you know is promoting intuitive eating as a way to lose weight, it's not intuitive eating. It's actually, I've said this before and I'll say it again because it warrants me to say it again. It's unethical to promise weight loss through intuitive eating. Intuitive eating focuses on bettering your relationship with food. So counting or tracking anything is not intuitive eating. It is a diet. Even if they call this, it's a lifestyle. I'm not naming names of programs, but it's a lifestyle. No. If you're counting, if you're tracking, if there's limits on anything, it is a diet. Intuitive eating is about healing your relationship with food. Focusing on weight loss interferes with your ability to reconnect with your body and the cues of your body. And I know this is so hard because we live in a culture, as you know, that is so stigmatizing around people in larger bodies. And everything is about weight. Everything is about weight. I posted this morning on Instagram a quote. Let me remember the quote. If weight loss, this is not an exact quote, but I'm going to give you the gist of it. If weight loss was a pill, doctors wouldn't be allowed to prescribe it. What do I mean by that? Doctors prescribe weight loss for almost everything that people come into the doctor for. Whether it is a health condition such as diabetes or cardiovascular disease, or it is you going for a sore throat or sinusitis, you're being prescribed weight loss. I can't tell you how many people will walk into my office with a prescription from a doctor and it says on it, treatment weight loss. That's the prescription. That is not I was going to say a bad word. That is not a behavior, okay? That is not something you can learn to do. And I totally am going off on a tangent right now, because if you focus on weight loss as your end goal, you will get further and further away from connection to your body and trust. So you focus on external cues like a food list, a diet plan, a menu, counting your macros, or that scale. It doesn't allow you to connect with your cues, your inner cues, hunger, fullness, satisfaction. Right? Because it's redirecting your focus away from those internal cues to the external factors. But intuitive eating is helping you to get back to those internal cues. So for some of you listening, this is a review. For others, maybe this is such brand new concepts. There are many misconceptions around intuitive eating. These are the ones that I wanted to touch on today. If you're here with me, put a comment in the chat box. If you're on replay, hashtag replay and put some thoughts down. Health is actually another misconception. Let me address this for just a moment. Health is a value for many people. It's not a value for others, and that's okay. That's their prerogative. But if you have health as a value and you really are working hard to achieve good health, it doesn't have to be tied to weight loss. It just doesn't. Today at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'm going live on my Instagram channel, and I'm sharing a case study from dieter to intuitive eater, the missing link. I'm sharing a case with you, and you'll hear and you'll understand what I mean about striving for weight loss as the treatment for health conditions is making you unhealthier. So join me. If you're not following me on Instagram, head over to Instagram and follow me at my handle, which is Bonnie R. Giller. All right, that's today at 6 p.m. I'm not going to say much more about that right now because I'm going to share that today at 6 over on Instagram. All right, so that's my topic for today. I wanted to just highlight some of the top myths and misconceptions. I wanted to uncover them for you, give you some food for thought. Please post some thoughts on comments on that. And don't forget, if you haven't registered for the webinar Monday night, you have time to still register. Send the link to your friends, your family members who are interested in health, but not through dieting. Let me share my blueprint, my intuitive eating blueprint that you can utilize to take the steps you need to achieve good health. All right, there's the link on the screen. I hope to see you Monday night. I will come back and check out thoughts on today's session. All you have to do is write hashtag replay and tag me, and I will be back. All right. That's it for today, guys. Have an amazing day. By the way, today is National Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Day. So if you have a favorite RDN, make sure you reach out and thank her or him. All right. That's it for me. If you're just joining me, I'm sorry that you missed the live. Just go back to the replay and listen and post your thoughts. I can't wait to read and come back and talk with you further. And don't forget, 6 p.m. today over on Instagram, Bonnie R. Giller is my handle. I'll be there sharing a case study, the missing link from dieter to intuitive eater. Have a great day, and I'll see you all later.